El Club Labrador otra vez con una charla en este día de hoy. Contamos con la presencia de Michael Gook, quien nos va a dar un pequeño seminario. Y bueno, agradecemos también a John, que va a hacer la traducción. Y bueno, nada, espero que lo disfruten y gracias por estar a todos, a Federación, a la gente que está presente en forma presencial y virtual. Gracias. John.
Buenas noches. Okay, what we're going to talk about, I guess, is the Labrador. If you're a breeder, you'll learn some of those things. If you're a judge, how many judges? Do we have any judges there?
¿Cuántos jueces? Vamos a hablar un poquito sobre la raza Labrador Retriever, tanto para criadores como jueces, y espero que puedan aprender algunas ideas.
Okay.
Pescar algunas ideas.
I use this picture to start off with because when you're judging a Labrador, I think you have to judge it as a water dog.
Uso esta foto para empezar porque cuando estás juzgando un narrador hay que juzgarlo como un perro de agua.
The Labrador can do so many things, as you know, right? I mean, it's a guide dog, it's a tracking dog, it's a great pet, it works in hospitals. How does the dog work on land? But basically, it was always bred to be a water dog.
Así que cuando lo miran para juzgarlo, mírenlo pensando que es del agua, pensando que es de la tierra, pero recuerden que siempre empezó siendo un perro del agua.
Okay, after I show you some of this, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the history of the breed, because hopefully that will help you understand the dog a little bit better.
Voy a también hablar algo de la historia de la raza, porque ahí por ahí comprenden un poquito más de cómo se formó.
The dog was originated and developed in Newfoundland as an all-purpose dog. So they used it for everything. They used it for hunting, they used it for retrieving, they used it for pulling wood. The dog was there to keep people alive. Newfoundland was a very, very poor place. It was a very, very harsh climate. And the dogs were not pets. The dogs were not part of the family. The dogs were there because the people needed them to keep them alive.
Así que la raza se empieza en Terranova como un perro de uso múltiple. No era para hacer todo tipo de cosas para su dueño. No era un perro cariñoso, era para, en este lugar muy agreste, este clima muy difícil, era un perro todoterreno, de todo múltiple propósito.
The exact breeds that are dogs that went into creating the Labrador, nobody really knows.
Nadie realmente sabe qué razas participaron de su principio, de cómo se creó inicialmente.
But when the early explorers came to Newfoundland, the reason they came, Columbus, Cabot, all of these people came because of the codfish. It was a huge codfish industry.
Originalmente, los primeros europeos que vinieron, lo primero que buscaban era el bacalao. Lo que había ahí y era fuente de la riqueza original era el bacalao.
So a lot of these ships, when they came, they had whatever dogs were there in their country. There was a huge number of Portuguese ships there. In the 1600s, there were as many as 1,500 ships from Europe fishing off the Newfoundland coast.
Así que casi parecido a lo que es Patagonia y la China ahora, ¿no? Lo que originó ahí fue hasta 1.500 barcos pescando ahí sobre las costas de Terranova y traían el perro de su país original. Hasta mucho, particularmente mucho barco portugués.
Okay, when you look at this picture here, would you say that is a typically kind of old Labrador? This is an old dog. The dog was 11 years old. You can see there's white here. Some of the older dogs had like white on their chest, but breeders didn't like it, so they bred it out.
Así que cuando miran este perro, 11 años, se imaginan algo de un labrador, tenía estas marcas en el pecho blanco que la gente no quería, así que lo fueron descartando de la raza.
So just remember this picture, and I'll ask you to think about it again a little further on.
Así que recuerden esta foto, que él va a hacer referencia más adelante a esta foto.
When the early explorers came to Newfoundland, they looked at what was there, and they called it the land of fog, cod, and dogs.
Así que los primeros exploradores que vinieron vieron Terranova y lo llamaron la tierra de niebla, bacalao y perros.
And when the people came, when they came there, they saw these dogs, smaller dogs than the big Newfoundland dog, than the Terranova dog. And they found that they were really good retrievers. So the aristocrats in England wanted a dog that was a good retriever. But when they told the people over there to bring me back a dog from Newfoundland, they brought them back these great big hairy dogs. And they didn't want that. So they picked another name. And the other name was Labrador. So that was why the dog was called Labrador and the big one is called the Newfoundland
Así
dog.
que había dos tipos de perros. Ahí estaba el grande, el Newfie, y estaban estos otros más pequeños. Y los aristócratas de Inglaterra particularmente les pedían, porque todos eran buenos retrievers, le pedían tráeme de vuelta un buen retriever, y le llevaron el grandote. Dijo, no, yo no quiero el grandote. Y por eso se nombró tras la provincia vecina, que es Labrador, y no Terranova.
And all of the aristocrats who bought them over said that they kept the breed as pure as they could. Were there some things bred into them? Yes. But they kept it as pure as they were able to keep.
Los aristócratas que recibieron estos perros los mantuvieron lo más puro posible. Que algunos se haya cruzado con alguien, seguramente que sí, pero la intención era mantenerlo lo más puro de lo que se trajo de Labrador, de Terranova.
Now, people say that the dog originated in Newfoundland but was developed in England. And I say that that's not right.
Algunos dicen que la raza se originó en Terranova y se perfeccionó en Inglaterra. Él no lo cree así.
Okay, this dog right here, that picture was taken in about 1964. He was the last water dog in Newfoundland, and he was 11 years old. And when he died, that was the end of the water dogs in Newfoundland. But if you look at that dog, can you tell me that that's not a Labrador?
Así que esta es una foto de 1964, el perro tenía 11 años y cuando se muere él, se muere el último especie del Terranova Water Dog. Pero él me pregunta, ¿no se parece a un labrador?
There was nothing bred into that dog. Nothing, no setters, no pointers, no spaniels. That dog came from Newfoundland, only had water dog, i.e. Labrador.
Así que este es puro de lo que había ahí en Terranova no se cruzó con nadie, digamos.
This is the dog that maybe went into the background because there were so many Portuguese ships there. This is the dog also called the Portuguese watchdog. You probably judged them over. And it's a small kind of a mastiff type breed. Did it get into it? We don't know. But since there were so many Portuguese ships, there's a good possibility
es posible que esta raza haya entrado al cruzamiento que creó el labrador. Es muy posible. Había tantos perros portugueses que venían por la pesca que este posiblemente sea parte antecesor de la raza.
And you can see it, I mean, it has some characteristics of the Labrador, like the drop ears, the coat, the tail a bit furrier, but there are things that
algunas características de la raza labrador tienen, con las orejas, la cola, el pelo, el pelaje.
Now, the Kennel Club in England recognized the Labrador in 1903. Go ahead.
En Inglaterra el Kennel Club reconoce la raza en 1903.
They were still bringing Labradors over from Newfoundland in 1932.
Todavía estaban llevando perros de Terranova a Inglaterra en 1932, la última.
This is a dog that was brought over from Newfoundland to England, nothing bred into it except what was in Newfoundland. And the person that brought it over was a famous English breeder, and he said he was really, really happy with this dog. But again, if you look at it, you can see that that's maybe not a show Labrador that we have right now, but it's definitely a Labrador, right?
Así que a este perro lo trajo un criador famoso en Inglaterra y está muy contento con este perro y es auténticamente originario, sin cruzamientos de Terranova.
And this is another dog that came from Newfoundland in the early 1900s. that had nothing bred into it except what was in Newfoundland.
Este es otro con la misma cosa, solamente puro de lo que venía, lo que se criaba en Terranova.
And I think it's a really beautiful example of the breed back 100 years ago.
Y muy buen perro para lo que era la raza hace 100 años.
And this is, okay, just so you get to have an idea of what these dogs look like. This dog, Gramshaw Bob, he won Best in Breed at Crufts 2 times. And this is a dog that was there in England at the time. And if you look at that dog and that dog, tell me what the difference is.
Así.
Right?
Este ganó Crufts 2 veces. You know when it won?
Doesn't show.
When? You know when?
1920s, I think.
Este más o menos en los años 20 ganó Crufts 2 veces.
Okay, so a bit of geography. This is Newfoundland. It's a great big island. It's one of the biggest islands in the world.
Así que Terranova es una isla muy grande, una de las más grandes del mundo.
And this is Labrador up here.
Y la provincia de Labrador es parte del
So
continente.
it's one province but 2 names. So that's why they said Newfoundland dog, Labrador. But the Labrador never came. It never came from there. It came from here.
Así que la provincia de Newfoundland, geográficamente es una provincia, incluye a Labrador como parte de la provincia, pero el perro es de Terranova, el Labrador es de Terranova.
When fishermen went up here, they left here and went up here to fish because the fishing was really great up there. They brought the dogs with them. But the dog that was really the native dog up there was a husky.
Así que cuando iban a pescar al Labrador, que había muy buena pesca, se llevaban los perros de Terranova, pero el perro de Labrador era el husky, el que estaba en el Labrador era el husky.
Okay, this is a typical scene from Newfoundland. Okay, that's in summer. Okay. That's a lie, no, it's not summer.
Esto es el bonito Terranova.
You can see that it's a pretty rough country.
Muy agreste, muy difícil terreno.
There's 1,800 miles of shoreline around the island.
1.800 millas de costa, así que 2.700 kilómetros.
And it's called the Rock. Everybody in Canada calls it the Rock. Because it's a huge rock.
Su apodo como lugar es La Roca, dentro de Canadá.
Now, living in a climate like that, you would have to have a dog that had a great coat.
Así que viviendo en un clima como ese, tenía que tener un perro que tenía un pelaje importante.
All that water, all that cold. You had a dog that was versatile because they had to do everything.
Tenía que ser versátil, tenía que hacer de todo.
You had a dog that had to have a good temperament because it had to work with people.
Tenía que ser de buen temperamento, era muy compañero de su amo para trabajo.
And the other thing, if you're a judge, you always hear people talking about the weight of Labradors, how heavy they are, they're carrying too much weight.
Así que cuando estás juzgando, se escucha mucho de qué peso debería llevar un labrador.
Okay, and part of that is genetic. Because as I said, the people in Newfoundland use the Labrador to keep themselves alive. And so they didn't feed the dogs dog food. The dogs ate whatever was there. They ate scraps, they ate fish guts, they ate seal meat. Whatever the people couldn't use, they gave to the dogs.
Así que parte de su peso es cuestión genética, pero ahí en su lugar era un perro que comía lo que había. Los desperdicios de la pesca, los desperdicios de foca, así que era alimentado de restos.
And the dogs that couldn't survive never lived to breed.
Así que el perro que no podía sobrevivir de esa forma moría, no participaba de la cría.
So the dogs that survived the breed had to be able to do on very little.
Así que el perro que sobrevivía y por ende daba cría era un perro que sobrevivía comiendo así, restos y poco y lo que había nomás.
So now we're feeding them all these really rich foods, so much more than they were normal eating, but genetically they were not disposed to eat like that.
Así que ahora que lo estamos alimentando mucho mejor, genéticamente no estaban acostumbrados a eso, genéticamente eran de sobrevivir con pocos, magros, pero ahora le estamos alimentando con todos estos alimentos ricos, buenos o lo que sea. Así.
Okay. This is not the dog you want to breed or put up in a show.
Este no es el perro que querés llevar a la muestra.
Labradors are unfortunately broken into two groups, show and field.
Labrador desafortunadamente se dividen en dos tipos, el de muestra y el de trabajo.
This is a field dog, this is a field dog,
Este es de trabajo,
and that's not a field dog.
ese de muestra.
Okay,
No es de trabajo.
this is a dog that changed Labradors.
Este es el perro que cambió la raza.
Gwen Broadley, Sandylands, this is kind of the dog that made her kennel, that made her famous.
Así que este es el perro que hizo a este criador, a esta Gwen de Sandylands.
Then America had this kind of dog. Oh, let's go back. America had this kind of dog.
En Estados Unidos estaba este tipo de perro a la izquierda.
That was the top winning dog in the U.S. It had, I don't know, 21 best in shows. It was the Labrador in America.
Ese era el Labrador de Estados Unidos, ganó 21 best in shows y ese tipo era el que estaba ganando en esa época en Estados Unidos.
It was a very famous kennel in the U.S. called Shamrock Acres.
Shamrock Acres era el criador.
And then they imported this dog from England, a dog called Sandylands Midas.
Y después importaron de Inglaterra el perro a la derecha, Sandylands Midas,
And he was a direct descendant of the Tweed dog.
que era el descendiente del perro que vimos
And you can see,
anteriormente.
you can see the difference.
Pueden ver
Right?
bien la diferencia.
So, if you were judging today, this dog would be a dog that you would put up in the ring, I think, right?
Hoy el perro a la derecha ganaría en un show comparado a la izquierda.
Okay. So, as we said, we're going to judge the dog as a Labrador.
Como dijimos antes, vamos a jugar el perro como un perro de agua.
Okay. Any questions that you want
Preguntas.
to ask on the...
Dijo anteriormente, si hay preguntas durante la charla, pregunten, por favor.
Okay. So that's why a lot of people in England don't like what I say, because the English say that the breed was originated and developed in England. And from those pictures and from what the people who owned them in England at the time said, you can see that that dog that didn't only originate in Newfoundland, it developed in Newfoundland too. And why would you bring a dog to England if you wanted a retriever and breed pointers and setters and spaniels into it?
Por eso, dice, mucha gente de Inglaterra no está muy de acuerdo, no le gusta lo que él dice, pero porque ellos piensan que la raza la desarrollaron ellos, pero él claramente te muestra con lo que viste que la raza es de Newfoundland, es de Terranova, desarrollada por esos y la llevaron a Inglaterra y capaz que la han cruzado con algunas otras cositas.
But I'm from Newfoundland and I'm prejudiced. Okay, when you're judging any dog, but particularly the Labrador, you're looking at the outline of the dog,
Cuando estás juzgando entonces ves el contorno del perro,
the coat,
el pelaje,
tail,
la cola,
head,
cabeza,
soundness, and temperament.
temperamento y
Okay, those are the main characters. Those are things you can judge. Those are things you can judge. You can judge those things, right?
esas cosas se pueden juzgar.
I think this is a very, very nice dog.
A él le parece que es un muy lindo perro,
He has a nice neck.
tiene buen cuello,
He has a good fore chest. He
una
has a good top line,
buena línea superior,
short couple, strong
Corto de lomo.
wear, and very good bone.
y muy
Okay.
buen hueso.
So I think if you get a dog like this in the ring, you should reward it. Or if you breed a dog like this, you should be pretty proud of the
Así que
dog.
si criaste un perro como ese deberías estar muy orgulloso.
Okay, this dog, if you get this dog, get down on your knees and thank God.
Si criaste este perro, agradece a Dios y arrodillate y agradece a Dios.
Okay, this to me is as good as it gets.
Para mí este es muy difícil de mejorar.
It's a Beechcroft dog and Mary Weiss, who breeds great dogs.
Un perro de Beechcroft,
I think this dog won Potomac twice
ganó
and
Potomac
won
dos
the
veces.
national once. Studies top secret. Yeah. I judged him and I gave him especially from the classes, right?
Él lo jugó y
The tail is phenomenal.
la cola es fenomenal,
It comes right off the top line.
bien de la línea superior,
Great spring of ribs.
muy buen arqueo de...
Yeah. Good 4 chest, good legs, nice strong muzzle. I mean, remember, it has to pick up a big bird. I mean,
Acuérdense, tiene que
you know,
poder levantar una
can't have a
presa
little-
importante.
it can't have a little tiny, right?
No puede ser chiquito.
This is a Finnish bitch. She's not pink, it's just the color on the
Esta es
slide.
una hembra de Finlandia, no es rosada, es la forma de la foto.
But again, she's a very beautiful bitch.
Muy linda.
And the thing about Labradors is, I think, no matter where you go in the world, the good ones look the same.
Y la cosa que tiene la raza es que no importa dónde estés en el mundo, los buenos son todos iguales.
This is another what I think is good dog. Okay, I'm going to show you some pictures of what I consider to be good
Vamos a dar unas
dogs.
fotos ahora de lo que él considera lindos,
So-
buenos perros.
Okay, and the other thing is, this is one person's opinion.
Acuérdense que
Okay.
esta es la opinión de una persona.
And different breeders have different opinions, and different judges have different
Otros
opinions. So
criadores tienen otras opiniones y otros jueces tienen otras opiniones.
you need to listen to what like everybody says, and then what you think, and then come to a conclusion that you think is the right dog.
Tienes que escuchar todo lo que todos dicen y después hacer tu opinión de lo que pensás que es un buen perro.
Okay, here's another dog that's a pretty nice dog. I don't like the tail as much,
No le gusta la cola tanto en este.
but again, nice chest, nice back,
Buena
short
línea
couple,
superior.
strong, powerful.
Fuerte.
Okay, when you're looking at the Labrador, the height and the length is approximately. Labradors are dogs that everything is approximate. Okay?
Es una raza que todo es aproximado, pero donde el largo y el alto es aproximadamente igual.
So from here to here is approximately from here to here.
Así que aproximadamente de la cruz al...
Okay? So here to here is approximately.
¿Qué les voy a
So
decir?
everything is like approximately now, 1 to 1.
American dogs, don't you think that still they have a tad longer leg, like that historical dog you showed us?
I think the American dogs right now have 2 short legs. 2 short legs. They're getting very, like, okay, this year I judged flat coats, Chessies, Tollers, and curly coats at Westminster.
Este año él jugó esas razas en Westminster
And then I went over to look at the Labrador ring,
y fui a mirar el labrador que no estaba jugando.
and the dogs looked,
Y todos,
they looked out of proportion,
parecían todos
right?
fuera de proporción, patas demasiado cortas.
And so I think you need, one of the big things with me is I want to have some leg. I mean, I don't want them long like giraffe. And Labrador is really hard. It's hard to breed a good one because everyone says, if you talk to judges, they tell you, it's hard to judge Labradors because there's a lot of different styles. And it's hard to get the power and the compactness and the short back, but get a good sized leg.
Como decía, que muchas veces es difícil jugar el labrador porque hay muchos diferentes tipos y es difícil conseguir la potencia que buscan con el largo de pierna, así que es todo, hay demasiadas variantes, casi está diciendo.
And sometimes you have to make compromises.
Y a veces hay que
You know,
hacer.
sometimes a dog has a beautiful head, beautiful body, and it's a bit short in the leg. Well, you have to live with that, right? I mean, as a judge or as a breeder, you're doing that every time you judge. There's no perfect dog. You're looking for the closest you can get to the
A
standard,
veces
right?
tenés el perro con la cabeza perfecta, pero tiene problemas en otro lado, así que todo es un balance de diferentes criterios.
But I mean, I think all these dogs you're seeing is that they have power, they are compact, they have good bone, they have good muscle, they're not fat, they're strong. A lot of people that aren't Labrador people will look at a Labrador and go, oh, it's fat. And I go, no, put your hands on it. And when you put your hands on it, you see it's quite strong.
Así que tiene que ser fuerte y muchos piensan que el sobrepeso, piensan que no es sobrepeso, es que si le pones las manos es que es músculo, es fuerte. Tiene que ser un perro fuerte.
Okay, so the coat is a double coat, as you all know, right?
Así que doble pelaje,
Harsh on the outside, double coat, soft on the inside. Undercoat is soft and dense. When the dog is in full coat, it looks nice and round.
cuando el perro
And it
está
can
en
look
pelaje,
fat, but
el
it's
pelaje tiene que ser bien medio redondo, todos saben del doble pelaje.
And the colors are black, yellow, and chocolate. We'll talk a little bit about that later,
Los
because a
colores
lot of standards.
negro, amarillo y chocolate.
Fox Red Labradors, they're becoming kind of popular in the North America now. It's a very old color. It's been around for a long time.
Este color casi rojo zorro, ¿sí? Está siendo muy popular ahora, es un color muy antiguo que ahora está subiendo en popularidad.
They can also be very, as you know, very, very light.
También pueden ser muy claritos.
This is not a very good Labrador, I don't think, but
Este no le parece que es muy lindo, pero es ejemplo del color.
And then chocolate can be really dark chocolate to very light chocolate, right?
Así que el chocolate puede ser muy oscuro a bastante clarito.
This is a very heavy set dog.
Este es un perro muy pesado.
Okay. He's getting too heavy for me.
Para él
right?
demasiado pesado.
But some judges like that dog, that kind of a dog, quite a bit.
Algunos jueces les gusta ese tipo de perro.
I would say the Kendall Herd joke here, but okay. This is an otter. That's an otter tail. Okay, so that's the way it should look. You don't see it
¿Cuál se llama el otter tail?
round, thick.
Porque voy a hacer una aclaración acá. Here they say cola de nutria. Una nutria no tiene esa cola. Esta es la cola a la cual refieren.
So what is it on
And it should come to it. It's not easy to find that tail, right? It's very hard to find that tail.
No es igual, pero igual. Capaz que nosotros decimos nutria eso, pero no es lo mismo.
Okay, but we're strong rear. I mean, if a dog has to swim in really rough water, Labradors are swimming in the ocean a lot, right?
Así que el labrador
Where they came
nada,
from.
tiene que tener perros
Good
traseros
turn.
muy fuertes para poder nadar.
Good turn of stifle, strong feet, good toes.
Así que todo, sí, todo de fuerte, de rodilla, de garrón.
Okay, this is another really nice Labrador, I think.
Este es otro labrador muy lindo.
This one at Crufts. It's a beautiful neck, nice short back, strong bone, good breadth of ribs, good chest, right?
Buen
Really,
pecho.
really pretty dog.
Con fuerza de pierna.
Very pretty. Okay, we'll look at some heads. This is a very typical
Así que ahora
head.
vamos a mirar unas cabezas.
When you look at a Labrador's head, you should go, oh wow, what a sweet dog.
Así cuando miras una cabeza, te tienes que decir qué lindo perro. Qué
You shouldn't
cariñoso.
look at him and say, oh, is he going to bite me?
No debería decir,
Right.
este me va a morder. Es todo
Right.
lo contrario.
And so when you look at the head, there's another really nice male head, masculine, right?
Otra perro masculino, cabeza masculina.
A bitch head, kind of feminine, but still strong, it's not weak.
Así que también, perra femenina, pero con fuerza, carácter.
Another good head, another good head, another good head. Not a good head. Okay, too narrow, too small.
Muy fino, muy
field.
chico. Así que esta no es una buena cabeza.
Beautiful head.
Muy linda cabeza.
This is an English dog that was imported to Canada. Okay,
Inglés que se
notice the
importa.
eyes. They're very kind. They're very expressive.
Así que ojos expresivos y cariñosos.
They're medium sized. They're kind of almond shaped,
Forma
like
de
this,
almendra,
right?
tamaño mediano.
Dark brown, and in yellow, dark brown
Marrón
also. In chocolate, I like a brown or a hazel color. The British don't like as dark an eye as we like in North America. They like a more kind of burnt sugar eye.
Así que en Inglaterra les gusta un color un poquito más clarito de ojo. A les gusta más oscuro.
But the rims, notice again another thing, big nose, right? Nice big nose, they got to be able to smell,
Así que
right?
nariz bien grande, importante.
Ears, not too big, you don't want great big ears.
Así que-
Water gets in under the ears,
Así que la
right?
oreja no muy grande, no tiene que ser grande como el elefante porque que no le entre agua. ¿no?
Notice how clean that head is. There's no skin, there's no wrinkles.
Y una cara
It's very,
limpia, que no
very
le sobra
clean.
nada, los cachetes,
The head to the muzzle is about 50-50.
más o menos la mitad de la cabeza al hocico.
The stop is moderate, like here. It's not like a flat coat. It's not like a Rottie. It's a moderate stop.
Stop moderado.
Parallel planes, again,
Planos
not like a Brockie.
paralelos.
It's not like, divergent planes. Clean, dry mouth. You don't want the mouth all dripping down. You don't want a soggy bird when it takes
Así
when
que
it comes
la
back to
boca
our
tiene que ser
full.
limpia, no húmeda, mojada, sino una boca más bien seca para que cuando te traiga la presa esté seca, no esté toda mojada.
Okay, scissors bite is preferable. If you're judging in the U.S., you've got to check teeth.
En
Because
Estados Unidos hay que chequear la
They want full
dentadura,
dentition.
mordedura de tijera.
I was the chairman of the committee that rewrote the Canadian standard.
Él era chairman del comité que escribió el estándar canadiense, revisó el estándar canadiense.
And we did not put in the standard full dentition.
No
We
le-
wanted it, but we thought that if we put full dentition in, some judges were going to look at the teeth and go, oh, the dog is a beautiful dog, but is missing one tooth.
Así
And
que
we're not going to
en
use
el
it.
estándar canadiense no pusieron dentadura completa, la quieren, pero no querían correr el riesgo de que se saquen perros muy lindos por la falta de un diente.
So you, as a judge or as a breeder, you have to decide. If a dog has a missing tooth, or two missing teeth, or three missing teeth, where do you draw the line?
Así que vos como criador o como juez, vos tenés que decidir si faltando una pieza es importante, o dos o tres, o dónde es la
So-
línea que decís basta.
Someone told me that, a decade or so ago, the top winning dog in the UK had 7 missing teeth.
Alguien me dijo que hace 10 años el perro que ganaba mayoritariamente en Inglaterra hace 10 años le faltaban 7 piezas.
If that was true, I wouldn't use it. I don't know if it's true or not,
Él no sabe si es cierto,
but I wouldn't use a dog
pero
with
si es
7
cierto, él
missing
no lo
teeth.
usaría.
One tooth, 2 teeth, for me, okay.
Una o dos piezas para él es bancable.
Okay, quarter horses are used, like, you see the cowboy movies, right?
Yeah.
They can
Those are-
run really fast over short pace, over
que-
short distances. They can turn really quickly, and they're the horse version of a Labrador.
Así que son la versión del labrador de caballos, el corto de milla, que usan los cowboys para todos los tirajes cortos, muy ágil.
Short, powerful, quick, but can't run all day.
Lo que
This is
no
not a
puede-
pointer.
que no puede correr todo el día.
Okay, Labradors should move strongly, powerfully, but they're again not a setter. They're not a pointer. They're not a spaniel. They're not a golden. Would you agree Goldens and Lab move differently? Yeah, right? I mean, they move as a Labrador should move, a good one.
Se tiene que mover como un labrador, no como todas estas otras razas que mencionó. Como un labrador.
If you have a bulldog, you don't ask a bulldog to move like an Afghan.
Por ejemplo, si eres un bulldog, no le pidas que se mueva como un afgano.
Okay, so remember, when you're judging, remember that. And that's one of the reasons I think why Labradors don't win so much in the
Es
groups.
porque él piensa que el labrador muchas veces no gana el grupo porque este movimiento es diferente.
They don't have all that beautiful hair, and they don't move like a pointer or move like
No
a
se
setter.
mueven como un pointer o un setter, no de otra forma.
And there's another dog that's moving pretty well, right? They're stretching out, you're pushing off.
Ese se está moviendo bien.
Okay, those of you who judge in Canada,
Para los que
we,
juzgan en Canadá,
we had no disqualifications
no hay
in our
descalificaciones
standard.
en el estándar,
until recently,
hasta recientemente.
and that's this one. Diluted colors, and the American Kennel Club
Así que la única descalificación que han puesto a los canadienses es el
And-
color diluido.
and FCI also, any other coat color or combination of colors.
Así que el FCI también, el tema del color es descalificatorio.
And this is why that's put in.
Y esta es la razón
Okay.
por la cual se metió la descalificatoria.
That's one of the infamous silver Labradors.
Este es el-
Okay, where did this silver color come from?
¿De dónde vino este color?
This is an early one. You can tell it's a Weimaraner, right? They crossed the Weimaraner into the Labrador.
Usaron el Weimaraner al labrador y por eso el plateado.
And then the American Kennel Club made the mistake of registering them as chocolates.
Oh,
The American, sorry,
They registered them as
en el
chocolates.
Kennel Club americano los registraron como chocolates.
Okay, so here's what they're selling now for $3,000 US dollars.
Así que por $3,000 hoy podés ir a comprarte uno de estos.
Oh, go back. This one is called a silver,
Este
And
lo
they're
llaman
probably-
un labrador plateado
and this one here is a charcoal.
y este es
So,
un carbón, color carbón.
That's why all the clubs now are putting in that the FCI, the CKC, and the AKC have all put in this because silver
Y esta es la razón que todas las federaciones ahora han incluido la descalificación por si no sos de los 3 colores originarios del labrador.
And an American judge gave a ribbon to one of a silver, and they sat her down for months.
Una juez americana le dio un premio a un plateado y la hicieron de lado un rato.
And this is, okay, again, if you're looking at Labradors, you're looking at the pigment, the color of the noses.
Cuando miras a un labrador, miras el pigmento de la nariz.
This dog doesn't have pigment. This is a pink nose. It has no pigment here.
Este perro no tiene pigmento, la nariz es rosada y le falta pigmento alrededor de los ojos.
This will usually come up if you have a yellow that has chocolate in it.
Esto origina por el amarillo que porta chocolate.
And this is what you kind of commonly see. That's what we call a snow nose.
Esto es la nariz de nieve.
In the winter, the nose will just fade. That's perfectly okay.
Eso está bien de pigmento, excepto que en el invierno se pone ese color.
You can see the pigment on the nose there, right? I mean, it has
el
pigment.
pigmento todavía lo ves bien clarito.
And I didn't believe that we could get this in Labrador.
Yo no creí que podíamos tener
But
esto,
these are Labrador puppies.
pero estos son labradores.
This is a dog I saw in California. First time I've ever seen it. I couldn't believe they could have a yellow with black because they got recessive, and so unbelievable things can happen, right?
Así que cosas raras pueden pasar.
You're not going to see that in the ring.
Labrador puro en California.
And hopefully not in the roping box. And there's a long coat.
Unos
So
pelos largos.
you never know what you're going to get sometimes, right? What's way back in the...
Pueden aparecer cosas raras, pero
Okay, temperament in the Labrador. Why is the Labrador the most popular dog in the world?
porque es la raza más popular en Norteamérica.
It's because of the temperament.
Es por su
Right?
temperamento.
When we had 3 kids. When we wanted a dog that we could leave with the kids, that would be great with the kids, so we bought a Labrador.
Así que ellos tuvieron de familia 3 hijos y cuando eligieron qué perro tener, querían tener un perro con cual podían dejar seguro a los chicos y por eso un labrador.
So when you're judging, you have to decide what you're going to do with a dog that doesn't have a good temperament.
Así que tenés que decidir cuando estás jugando qué hacer con un perro que tiene mal temperamento.
Labradors shouldn't be idiots. They don't have to be jumping all over you, but they should stand there, they should look at you, they should wag their tail, they shouldn't be hiding behind their owner. Puppies.
El temperamento tiene que estar tranquilo, no haciendo arriba tuyo, pero tampoco escondido. ¿No? Tiene que tener tranquilidad en estar vos conmigo.
Yeah. I'm a little more lenient with puppies, but I also believe that the puppy isn't ready to be in the show ring, it shouldn't be in the show ring.
Cachorros a veces es más permisivo, pero dice si el cachorro no está listo para estar juzgado, no debería estar ahí.
But this is what you want. I mean, a kid lying in the middle of a pile of Labrador puppies, and mom says, wow, this is super, right?
Pero esa es la foto que deseable, ¿no? Que el chico y los perros y los cachorros estén para que la familia pueda decir que lindo.
Problems in the breed right now.
Problemas en la raza
Low
ahora.
on leg, 2 coarse heads, bad expression.
Así que problemas, low leg, corto de pierna, la cara muy fuerte, tosco, con la expresión incorrecta.
Short upper arms,
Hombro a codo corto,
long set tails, dippy top lines and rounded around the croup
así
like
que la
that.
línea superior mal,
Open or long coats, a lot of feathering on the tail.
así que también mucho del pelaje mal, muy abierto.
Okay, weight and substance, we talked about that. There's a difference between having muscle and being fat, right?
Hay una diferencia entre un perro bien musculado y pesado contra gordo.
But here's your problem too as judges. If you have a dog in the ring that is carrying too much weight, but is a really good type dog, and you have another dog in the ring that's in great physical condition, but has a bad shoulder or a bad rear, what are you going to do?
Ahí tenés la pregunta como juez, ¿no? Si tenés un perro lindo pero sobrepeso y tenés otro que está en muy buena condición pero tiene algún problema de cola o de hombro, ¿qué haces?
And I think the thing to remember is you can always take weight off a dog, but you can't put a good shoulder on it.
La cosa por acordar es que siempre puedes enflaquecer un perro gordo, pero no podés cambiarle el hombro a un perro con mal hombro.
Okay, here's a nice bitch except for her legs.
Acá hay una linda perra excepto por sus piernas.
She doesn't have any, right? Here's another one. This was a show dog.
Este era un perro de muestra, pero muy corto de pierna.
Head problems. If
Problema de cabeza.
if you put some tan points on that, it'd make a great Roddy, right?
Sorry.
It'd make a great Rottweiler.
You had points, sí, puntos.
Si le pudieras cambiar la coloración, sería cabeza de rock.
And then another one. Another one. A nice one. Right? It's masculine, but it doesn't look like another breed.
Por eso, masculino fuerte, pero no sale de tipificación de la raza.
And then another beautiful headpiece.
Otra linda.
Another really nice headpiece. See, but again, you see, it looks masculine, it looks strong, but it doesn't look like a Roddy, right?
Por eso, si le parece masculino, parece fuerte, pero no parece un rod.
Then a couple of, this is what I talked about before. Back we go. Like here, see the arch here, and then the tail is too low
Arqueada, la línea
set.
superior arqueada.
And this is a problem I think we're seeing in North America. I don't know if you're seeing it as
El
much in
problema que está
Europe.
viendo mucho en el Norteamérica.
This is again another really nice dog, right?
Lindo perro.
Good, nicely coupled, short coupled, compact.
Compacto.
No standard says that the Labrador should be square. It's not a square breed. It's a compact breed. That's different.
Ningún estándar dice que debería ser un perro cuadrado, debe ser compacto.
A Doberman is a square breed.
Un Doberman es cuadrado.
An Afghan is a square breed. A Pointer is a square breed. A Labrador is not a square breed.
Sí.
Okay. This is another beautiful, beautiful bitch.
Otra linda perra, muy linda perra.
The same kennel, by the way, is the dog that I said was beautiful.
Mismo criador.
And there's this dog, and what I did with them is I stretched them. So look what the difference makes when they're too long, as opposed to when they're right. Okay? But too long,
Muy largo.
right. Yeah, okay? So, this is a dog I know you know. Big winning dog.
Perro muy ganador.
In the picture, I'm only talking about the picture.
En la foto.
He
En la
has a
foto.
really nice chest and everything, hair, lovely neck. He's either overstretched or he has too much rear.
O tiene mucha angulación posterior o lo han estirado.
Another very moderate dog, okay? In Labradors,
Muy moderado, lindo moderado perro.
I always talk about moderate. I like moderate.
Le gusta
I don't
todo
like
moderado.
extremes. I don't like too heavy, too coarse. I don't like too fine. I like moderate. And that's what I judge, I look for. If I can find it, I'll like moderate.
Cuando él busca, si lo encuentra, le prefiere el moderado. No muy fino, no muy grande, no muy corso.
But you notice that this dog does not have extreme angulation.
No tiene
Right?
angulación
Or either
extrema.
front or rear. It has good angulation, but it's not extreme. And this is a nice young dog. A lot of young dogs you can notice that we have rear, high in the rear of it.
Un poquito alto de atrás.
Okay, health problems, well, you guys won't judge that in the ring, but for breeders.
No para juzgarlo, pero para los criadores, los problemas de salud.
And that's the end. Muchas gracias. Any questions?
Preguntas.
¿Cuáles son los criterios que utiliza cuando juzga o cuando cría sobre el soundness? Mucha gente habla sobre el soundness, está en todos los estándares de todas las razas y muy poca gente entiende de qué se trata el soundness.
So she's asking, particularly when you breed or when you judge, what exactly do you mean by soundness? Everyone talks about it, everyone talks about it. What exactly do you mean by soundness?
Okay, sound is, okay, for example, when a dog is coming at you,
Por ejemplo,
its
cuando un
feet
perro
are
te
not
viene-
going like this. It's not going over like that. When it's going away from you, its hocks are not like this. Its hocks are not like this. It's able to move freely.
Así que
Okay.
camine libremente, que no tenga
Yeah.
esas faltas que te describió recién.
It's not just not limping. It's
No es solamente que no esté herido,
it's
que
not
no
just
esté
not limping.
rengueando.
It's how it moves
Es
when
cómo se
it,
mueve correctamente.
it should be smooth, effortless,
Tiene
efficient
esfuerzo,
movement.
suave,
Right.
eficiente.
So that's what I think of when I think of soundness, right? So a dog that comes at me and it's doing this, it to me is not sound. Or if it's going away from me and its hocks are like this or like this, it's not sound. Does that answer your question?
Quería preguntar por el fox rate. Sabemos que hay tres colores, pero el fox rate como que muestra un rate. ¿Sería más jalado amarillo oscuro, chocolate claro, o le incluiríamos una cuarta?
So he's asking about the fox red. Is it a variation of the yellow? Is it a variation of the chocolate? Or is it a fourth color?
No, it's a variation of yellow.
Una variación del
It's a
amarillo.
grade of yellow. Fox red is up here, almost white is down here.
Es el extremo
Yeah.
oscuro de los amarillos.
Yeah.
You see it in golden streets.
And you see it in Goldens too. Like American Goldens can be really Irish setter red.
Lo ves también en golden.
And like European Goldens can be almost white, right? And there's different other characteristics too, obviously. But yeah, the yellow can go a whole spectrum.
El amarillo es el que puede variar tanto en
Of
el
things,
espectro.
right?
De casi blanco a este fox red.
Okay, any other questions?
¿Cuál es su orden de prioridades cuando juzga un labrador? El orden de prioridades de todas las características.
So what are your priorities when you're judging of all the characteristics? Which do you give greatest importance to in a Labrador?
If the handler is really pretty. Okay, first, when I bring the dogs into the ring, the first thing I do is I move them around,
Así que lo primero hace
and I want to look at the movement, the soundness,
Sí.
and then I want to see their outline.
Sí, lo primero que hace es ver que sean sound, justamente que se muevan correctamente y ver su contorno.
And then I look at the dog standing, okay, and I want to see the outline. But I want to see the same outline for the dog standing as I saw for the dog moving.
Así que después, viéndolo parado, quiere ver el mismo contorno que vio cuando lo vio en movimiento.
Because many times I've gone into a class in a big specialty with like 30 black Labrador bitches.
Porque muchas veces ha tenido una clase, por ejemplo, de 30 perras negras.
And I look down the line and I see all these beautiful bitches and I go, oh my God, what am I going to do? Right?
De todas estas hermosas perras, digo, ¿qué hago?
And then I move them around and I go, okay, you, and you, and you are good.
Después lo
Right?
mueve y ya ahí salen los primeros
So
4 o
you
5.
want to see you want to see that outline. So in your mind, I think, and that's true with any breed. Like if you're looking at a bulldog, right? Or a French bulldog, you want to see that particular outline for the breed, right? Or a pointer, you look at. And with a Labrador, you've got to get in your mind what is the right outline. That's the
Tienes que
most
tener en tu
important
mente
thing.
cuál es el contorno correcto de la
Right.
raza.
And so I look at them moving, and I look at the soundness and the outline. I look at them standing, and I look at the outline. So if I only have one dog in the class, I usually just move the dog right away,
Así que
And
si
I
tiene
don't
uno
set
solo en
up.
la clase, lo mueve enseguida.
right? And then I look at if I have 2 or 3 dogs or 10 dogs in a class, I'll usually line them up, look at them, and then I'll move them,
Así que
right? But I'm doing the same thing basically. I'm looking to see what's the outline, how do they move. And then I look at
Así que lo
then I
primero,
start,
entonces ya lo repetimos, ¿no? Es el contorno y cómo se mueve y
and then I start to look at the particulars, because
después
that's what
empieza
makes
con
a breed a
los
breed,
rasgos
right?
particulares.
So I come to the front of the dog and I want to look at the head.
Así que
Okay,
mira
I
la
want to see
cabeza,
that expression. I want to see the eye. I want to see the strong muscle. I want to see the small ears. I want to see the nice big skull, but not too big. I want to see the clean head, right? Look down the front,
así que
and I
por
want
la
to see some
característica
bone.
de la cabeza que mostró limpia.
And I want to
los
see the
ojos,
feet.
la
I don't want to see
expresión.
feet that are like that, all right? But I don't want to see cat feet either, because they shouldn't have cat feet, right? They should have a kind of a moderate, like I would say between, and there's no word for it, but between a kind of a hare foot and a cat foot, right?
Así que
They-
entre una liebre y un gato de
Okay,
pie.
and then once I look at that, I want to look at them from the side, and I want to feel the coat texture.
Y después quiere ver el pelaje.
And that's really, if you're judging Labradors, those of you who judge Labradors know, or any breed, like if you're judging Border Terriers and you don't span them, everybody knows you don't know a darn thing about Border Terriers, right?
Así que, por ejemplo, de cualquier raza, si por ejemplo no sabes nada del Border Terrier,
Yeah. So with Labradors, I mean, you've got to check the coat,
así que de
and you've got to
tenés
check
que
the
ver-
tail,
tenés que ver el pelaje,
right?
la cola.
If you don't check the coat and the tail, the people around the things are going to say, That judge doesn't know anything about
Si no
Labradors.
miraste el pelaje y la cola, el que te está mirando dice, vos no sabés jugar labrador.
And then the next thing I want to do is like feel the muscularization, like in the rear.
Después
Find
quiere
you
ver
got
la
some good muscle back there,
musculatura de
right?
las piernas, de
Yeah.
los muslos.
And then I move them down and back.
Pues lo mueve.
And again, you don't want to see this, and you don't want to see that, and you don't want to see this, and you don't want to see, all the kind of flipping things that they can do. And that's basically what I'm looking for. But I mean, the breed is head, coat, tail, temperament, right? And if you got those things, then you can work at the rest of the stuff, right? Okay. Anything else? Well, I count on you people. Thank you. Gracias.